Hi, this is Jill Ciminillo, and welcome back. I hope it's a welcome back to my YouTube channel. And on this channel, we discuss the car that I am driving today, hence car du jour. So today's car du jour is the 2021 Chrysler Pacifica. And well, it's probably not as sexy as a Ram TRX or a Hyundai Elantra N-Line. This is still a really cool minivan. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to take a closer look at some of the details. I'm going to tell you about the things I like, the things that I don't like. There are a couple, and we're going to take a look at the seating positions. So stay tuned and let's take a closer look right now. As you power up the 2021 Chrysler Pacifica, probably the very first thing you're going to notice are these bright blue gauges. I think they are very attractive, and they've got a really nice design that Chrysler did a very good job with. It makes this vehicle look pretty up level and upscale, and just, like I said, generally attractive. Now, as you move away from the gauges, probably the next thing you're going to notice is this 10.1 inch screen. This is all new for the 2021 model year, and it has the upgraded Uconnect 5 system. So that means this has a little bit of a faster processing time, and in general, it's just been redesigned. So, for example, if you hit the apps button, instead of previously where you would get this big screen with everything, you have it divided up over here into areas. So your media, all of your media things, your comfort, so heated seats, heated steering wheel, your climate controls, you go into your navigation, and then your phone options. But the biggest change is going to be that this menu down here is no longer configurable. So previously, if you wanted to maybe move your audio settings down here, you could hold the button and then drag it down. But as you can see, that is no longer an option. What they've done instead is they've given you this favorite menu so that you can preset the items that you want to access most frequently. All right, so I think there's probably something here that is going to be a little bit of a trigger for some people, and that is the fact that the comfort settings or the climate control is a screen option. However, I would like to point out there are redundant hard controls on the center stack. So you don't actually have to control much here. You can control most of it here. The only thing you're going to have to control through the screen is your heated and vented seats or your heated steering wheel. Another nice thing for 2021 is the fact that there is wireless charging and wireless Apple CarPlay, which means that you can cut the cord. Those two things are available, not standard. If you follow me on the Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk YouTube channel, and if you're not, you should be, you know I've been on a little bit of a tear recently regarding seat comfort. I recently had the Escalade, the Tahoe, and the Yukon, all from General Motors, and none of those seats were comfortable. They're also 3-row vehicles meant for families and potentially for road trips, and yeah, I gave them all pretty much a thumbs down in terms of seat comfort. So let's talk a little bit about the seat comfort in this vehicle, because seriously, if you're buying it, you're probably going to be spending a lot of time driving it, and there's probably often going to be people in most, if not all, of the seats. So I find the driver's seat to be firm, but not overly unyielding. So one of my big complaints in a couple of the 3-row SUVs is that I felt like I was sitting on cardboard. And I don't necessarily feel like I'm sitting on cardboard here. It's certainly stiff, but it's also got just a little bit of cushion that doesn't feel uncomfortable to me. There's also some nice bolstering on the sides, and you know, the headrests are cushy without feeling super pillowy. There are some vehicles that I'm in that, you know, my head just bobbles off of the headrest, and my head doesn't bobble here. So that is all good stuff. So let's check out the captain's chairs. I know, that's kind of an unconventional way of getting back here, but I'm small and I can do that. So we've moved into the second row seat, and, you know, I would say it's a pretty similar feel, though the cushion bottom is just a little bit squishier. You know, the seats are more upright, but the beautiful thing here is you can recline a little bit or a lot. Yeah, I like this seat. I think that Chrysler has done a nice job with making this comfortable. The seat bottoms, both in the front and in the back, don't feel too long. Often because I'm more on the petite side of things, I feel like the seat bottoms are too long and, you know, I'm just like sticking my legs up like Edith Ann. But in this one, I feel really comfortable. So thumbs up, both the driver's seat and the middle seat. So here's the true test. Coming all the way back into the third row. So, all right, it's not going to be luxurious back here, but I will say again, there's a nice amount of cushion in the seats, some good padding, and while it does feel a little bit firm on my tailbone, it's not completely uncomfortable. Again, I don't feel like I'm sitting on cardboard. The headrests do push forward just a little bit on my head, so I don't know that I'm a fan of that. I don't think they adjust, but it's not awful. It's not super uncomfortable, but I would like to be able to adjust these headrests. While I'm sitting back here, I'd also like to mention that there are air vents on each side, so one here and one over there. There's 2 cup holders and a bin to put a device or something. And then there is both a USB-A and a USB-C charge port back here. Another creature comfort of note back here is the fact that there is a sunscreen. I like that. But there is a sunroof back here, and I like the fact that you can have it open, or if it's a really super sunny day, you can close it. Oh, I'd break that in a heartbeat. All right, so now it's time to talk about what is probably going to be the most uncomfortable seat in the house, and that is going to be the one that is in the center of the third row. And yeah, this does kind of feel like I'm sitting on cardboard. So I guess when I say that it will seat 7 comfortably, I should say it'll seat 6 really comfortably, and then a 7th person in a pinch. Now, I'd be completely remiss while I'm in here if we didn't have a little bit of a conversation about the rear seat cargo area. All right, I know that was also unconventional, but I'm small and I can get away with it. So here we are in the cargo area, and I would say that's a solid 4.5 feet of height. Plus, you've got a nice span of space to not only stack vertically, but also horizontally. So as I pointed out from the outside, I think the space back here is really good, especially for a family and a road trip. Now that we have taken a tour of the interior, exterior, and seating positions, I want to start talking about some of the features I really like on the 2021 Chrysler Pacifica. So for that purpose, for this segment right here, I've folded the middle row seats flat because I want to give you a really good view of that third row. Taking a cue from Volvo, one of the things that you can do if you don't have anybody sitting in that third row seat is fold the headrest down. There's an app icon on the Uconnect 5 that you simply press and the headrest folds flat. Another feature I really like on the 2021 Pacifica is the FamCam. This is new for 2021, and you press it and it gives you a camera view of all of the seating positions in the vehicle. What's really cool here is all you have to do is press on a specific seat and it'll zoom to that seat. So if you want to see if somebody's chewing on something they shouldn't be, or who's fighting with whom, that's a really easy thing to do just by clicking on the seats. All right, so another one of my favorite features on the 2021 Pacifica is going to be the Park Assist feature. And what it does is it helps you parallel park. So how it works is you press this button right here. It's a P with a little steering wheel. So you press the button and it says Active Park Sense Searching. So you go ahead and you move forward, And what it's doing is it's measuring spaces, and it's trying to find a space that is as big as the vehicle that you can fit in. So you drive, you drive, you drive. Oh, it's found a space. So it says stop and remove hands from the wheel and shift to reverse. So hands off the wheel, the camera pops up so you can see, and you need to keep your foot on the brake, but otherwise the steering wheel is doing all of the steering for you. It knows all the angles, it knows all the sensors, and it knows exactly where the curb is. So it moves you into the space and it tells you what to do while you are moving. So it checks surroundings, you got to pay attention here, and it says keep moving backwards, so I'm just keeping my foot on the brake a little bit as it moves backwards. And it says stop, shift to drive, put it to drive, move forward. Again, hands still off the wheel, allowing it to move forward. And it says stop, active park sense complete. Check your parking position. So, I think that did pretty well. I'm pleased with that. We'll leave it alone. While we are on the topic of things that I like, let's talk about Stow N Go. This is a really nifty feature that allows you to lift up the floor panel and then store this seat in the floor. So there's a strap over here. It says Stow N Go. You hold the strap, you guide the seat down, give it a firm little shove into place, and then you close the floor panel back up. That is really nice if you need some flat storage area for a large package or maybe a trip to IKEA or something like that. Much as I like this feature, I do have to point out there is a little bit of a downside. So first, I don't know if you noticed, I had to really push on the seat bottom to get it into that casing so that it would click into place so that I could put the floor panel back out. The other thing to note, okay, this is my driving position. I sit in a pretty far forward position, and in order to get this to work, the seat has to be forward. So it's going to work for a driver like me without moving the seat, but anybody taller is going to have to move the seat first to get this to operate. Good news is, there are memory seating positions. Okay, here's the other not so great thing about this feature. To put it back up, you have to use a little bit of force. But still, I'm going to point out that a feature like this is way easier than having to physically pick the seats up and take them out of the vehicle if you want something back here. The even more brilliant thing about the Stow N Go system is that you can get Stow N Go and all-wheel drive. While we are talking about lights, I think there's one more thing I want to bring up, and that is the Stonevac. It's located in the third row, which makes a lot of sense because who's going to make a mess? Kids in the third row. But with the location and the easy access, I see one potential problem with putting it back here in an easily accessible location with kids in the third row. Invariably, somebody back here is going to do this. And it's probably not going to be to themselves, it's going to be to their little brother or sister. Ask me, I know, I am that little sister. All right, so now it's time to move on to the things that I don't like. And while there isn't a lot, there are a couple things. The first one of which is the fact that the heated and vented seats, as well as the heated steering wheel, are hidden in the Uconnect screen. Granted, it's not super hard to access them. All you have to do is hit the comfort button, but I would much rather have a hard-coded button or the ability to put them in the navigation down below. Another thing that I don't like is the capacitive ability of this screen in general. I've had a couple of times where I've barely touched anything and it's moved automatically, and then there are times when I hit it and it takes a couple of times for it to work. The other thing that I noticed is when I was playing around in the apps of this screen, so if you go to categories and scroll down through the system, and I was looking at the vehicle items and what just happened there? It just automatically changed, and I don't know if it was from my hand gestures. I don't know if there was something going on where I touched something. I mean, I didn't touch something, but I don't know if it sensed something. I don't know, but took me a couple of times, and it just changes without me wanting it to change and going someplace that I don't want it to go. Another thing that I don't like is on the steering wheel. While this metal bit right here looks really pretty, it is incredibly impractical. On a hot day, that is going to be hot, and as I recently discovered, on a cold day, this is really cold. In fact, when you turn on the heated steering wheel, this'll heat up and this'll heat up, but that metal piece does not heat up. So I found myself driving like this until the entire cabin heated up because I was searing my hands with the cold just from this metal bit. So pretty, but useless. Now, the final thing on my do not like list is something that I kind of like and really want to like, and it's a good idea in theory, but on this vehicle, it just doesn't always work the way you want it to. And that's going to be the kick open rear. Either the sensor isn't sensing my foot, I know my foot is small, or I'm just not kicking in the right place. So I find myself standing behind the car, kicking, and while it's great exercise and all, it's a little bit cumbersome if you have a package you're trying to put in the cargo area. So I think there needs to be a wider swath down here for your foot to kick to be able to kick open the rear of the Pacifica. It's time to wrap up this review, and I just want to leave you with a few final thoughts and some driving impressions. So the first thing to note is, even though this seats 7 people, it is really a comfortable and, dare I say, nimble vehicle to drive. It's kind of crazy, but it is, especially after getting out of vehicles like a Chevrolet Tahoe and GMC Yukon. Those are big vehicles, they drive big, and they're not very conducive to smaller city spaces. And I found this to be very comfortable, very nimble, very easy to drive, very easy to park, and it did everything I needed it to do, and it felt good. I know, it's a minivan, but it felt good. So I think that is a huge selling point. Again, I know a minivan isn't sexy. It's not something everybody wants to drive, but it's so incredibly practical. And Chrysler has done a really great job of not only making this quiet, but also making it comfortable to drive, comfortable to sit in most of the seating positions, as well as very tech forward. So there's just a lot of nice family friendly as well as driver friendly and person friendly features. So I really like the Chrysler Pacifica as far as minivans go. I think this is one of the top ones out there, and I think it will fit into any driving situation, whether it's urban, suburban, or country, especially with that available all-wheel drive. All in all, I've got a really great and comfortable driving position. This V6 engine has just the right amount of power for me to do the aggressive maneuvers I need to do on my daily drive, and I really kind of like it. I hate saying that about a minivan, but I like it. If I needed one, this would be one of the first ones I would look at. All right, thank you for crawling around with me inside the 2021 Pacifica. I hope this gives you a better idea of what this vehicle is, what it's like, all the cool tech features, and the fact that it's actually comfortable, even if it's not sexy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll see you with my next car du jour. So if you follow me on the Pickup Truck Plus SU... Additionally... No. While we're back here, it's also worth pointing out that that didn't work. While we're back here, it's also worth pointing out still didn't work. They're gonna wonder why they have boots on the ceiling. You pull the strap and you just kind of guide the seat down into the floor. And then you can not get it to work when you want it to. Of course, it worked before. Ooh, that's not what I meant to do. You pull the strap. You guide the seat down into the floor. I feel like there's something that keeps catching down here. Guide the seat down into the floor. I want to go all the way down. There. Give it a firm push. I will never be able to get this in one take.